So this will be kind of like a dive into Sadali and Dark Little Leela. Now I'm not gonna go specifically into their stats, and I mainly want to just talk about like generally how to deal with them, how to use them, and generally what you would want on and off for the character themselves. So looking at Sadali, um, he seems to be, like I said, very magic oriented, but he does have a means of if I can click on him. But you can see here he does have a means of dealing like missile damage. It can still be reflected, but that can be pretty huge. Generally, if I did have him, Immortal Dogma would be something I would never turn off for him. As far as PvP goes, that hate, the re-raise would work very well with Joom. So that's definitely something to consider. This is where it becomes a little tricky as far as like, would you want Sermon of Power, or would you want, you know what I mean? I think this would probably be the better one, just because elemental resistance is universal and it could work very well in guild battle. I would definitely keep Rush Not Thy Fate, and yeah, definitely in Doctrine. So probably you would keep generally everything except for like one of these buffs on, and then you could definitely run sub Kododama just for the guaranteed hit. The money maker is definitely going to be his limit break. You're going to want that on. It doesn't reflect. It's going to be pretty huge, and just the ability to land a charm and completely just destroy your team. Yeah, he's really annoying. What I found best is, at least as far as like what I've tested and what I've went against, it seems that Joom, as you're going to run like mono, runs very well with Mora can both cast re-raise, and the added hate onto Joom, because that's definitely who you're going to want to prioritize as far as who's receiving that buff. That's just going to be ridiculous. It's very difficult to deal with. Like I said, it's not going to limit you to magic. You can still run Joom, who can deal with physical attacks, and having more in the back, kind of just sniping everybody while homeboy, buffs, or maybe, drops a very crucial limit break in the first fight. Yeah, I can see him definitely being useful on rainbow teams as well. As far as these abilities go, I don't really like paralysis. I know it can be very useful and crippling, but at the same time, like I said, even as far as I have her built up, I already just refuse to use it. The reaction block, that's good. As far as PvP goes, you don't want her to really cast more than one buff, as far as if it's toward the allies, because you're going to definitely want her to use this afterwards. And that also depends if you're running her with TMR that gives AP. You might want to turn this off, even though it's like good. It just really depends on the map, but she's going to cast one or the other. But you can also like consider for, I guess, guild battle, maybe you want to turn that on just so she'll have more options whenever the time comes. But I feel like she's gonna need AP. This is gonna be really good as far as lowering defense and stuff like that. So I got that turned on. I decided to use her as a pugilist just because, I mean, like I said, it's really good. That man eater is gonna be very crippling. This is Spirit Breaker. Like, she has pretty much everything that you would really want. I'm not really gonna use Shifting Strike just because, I don't know, I'd rather have her hit as hard as she possibly can, if not, then just, buff herself. I've not really looked at this, but yeah, her limit break is also really good. Yeah, like I said, she's gonna definitely be living off of her accuracy, attack, magic, not magic, but her HP, her defense, stuff like that. I would say, even though you can probably build her spirit up and, give her, forms of magic resistance and stuff, generally I think you want to deal with her with magic. Spirit Pin, anything like that, that can just kind of just, chip her away. If not, I don't think you'll be able to one-shot her, even, without the, without courage. But I think magic is probably going to be the better way, aside from just avoiding her, to be completely honest. Realistically, you can take on a Sadali team with somebody who has re-raise removal. That would be very crippling to their team. But the thing is that you want to run somebody that can heal, that pretty much he'll use his limit break on, like a tank or something with low attack, that you don't mind getting charmed. It's an annoyance, but it's not a big deal. The re-raise is pretty much like the re-raise and the charm, I think is pretty much like his highlights. So if you can take those two out of commission, you're good to go. As far as Dark Little Leela, I would definitely, like I said, run magic, somebody who can, imperil to an element, something like that. But somebody who has probably courage to match that. And yeah, I think you're pretty much good to go. And they're, you have a choice of magical users who have courage. So I think that'll work out. Yeah, like I said, the best option always is to avoid these teams if you're running in duel. There's no point in really trying to like, I mean, if you want to push your teams and test your teams out, that's always cool. But at the same time, you're trying to go for like that win chain. You want, pretty much a guaranteed win, if not as close to win as possible. As far as guild battle goes, yeah, magic for Dark Little Leela and re-raise removal with somebody who's tanking, who you wouldn't mind being charmed pretty much. You hope it doesn't come to that, but sometimes it's unavoidable. But that'll be it, man. I can't really think of anything else that's like drastically important. Hopefully, like I said, this was informative to some people. Be sure to like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.